Hello friends, my name is Ramasu. Today we shall discuss about a topic, the story point estimation. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in project management using the Scrum or Agile based approach, or you are planning to give exam related to Scrum or Agile. So friend, let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start, friend. Story point is a metric used in agile project management and development to estimate the difficulty of implementing a given user story, which is an abstract measure of effort required to implement it. In simple terms, a story point is a number that tells the team about the difficulty level of the story. Difficulty could be related to complexities, risk, and efforts involved. Story point estimation, a kind of relative estimation, is typically performed at the product backlog grooming sessions, and the product backlog is evaluated by the team who is responsible for the actual development and testing work. In order to make the sprint planning more efficient in practice, product owner and the team will make a rough estimation called product backlog grooming before the sprint planning and check for if the sprint plan is ready to be conducted efficiently. Is there enough information to complete these matters? Is the user story split reasonably? Fibonacci number for story point. When the development team conducts an estimation, it is recommended to abandon the traditional human days or man days assessment method using the point of the story point using the Fibonacci number, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, to estimate the story point. Now, how to do in the agile estimation? In order to do that, each team would have to find a baseline story. It does not necessarily to be the smallest one, but the one that everyone within the team can resonate with it. Once determined, sizing of all the user stories should be initiated by comparing them against the baseline. When estimating new stories, all you have to do is pick a story and say, will this take longer than reference story X, or will it be less than reference Y? With enough reference stories, there should be a suitable comparison to find a similar sized story and give it the same points, or a bit more or a bit less based on a considered factor. While estimating story points, we assign a point value to each story. Relative values are more important than the raw values. A story that is assigned 2 story points should be twice as much as a story that is assigned 1 story point. It should also be a 2/3 of a story that is estimated 3 story points. In addition, it is important to note that when the single story point of the assessment is greater than 21, the user story need to be split again, and the single user story point is no more than 8 is the most rational state. Now, so how does story point estimation give your team a more accurate estimate of the time user stories will take to complete? With the story points, team take into account the effort and complexity to assign each item in a product backlog with a numerical value. Story points are much more comprehensive than looking at only one factor, time, to estimate sprint planning. Story point estimation include 3 main components. Risk. The risk of a particular project or item includes vague demands, dependence on a third party, or changes mid-task. Complexity. This component is determined by how difficult the feature is to develop. Repetition, and this component is determined by how familiar the team member is with the feature and how monotonous certain tasks are within development. By incorporating the 3 points above, your team can more accurately plan sprints, include cushion for uncertainty, better estimate issues, and avoid learning too heavily on time commitments. Story points allow for consistency not just in teams but across departments. Determine a matrix. After you have decided to use the Fibonacci sequence, it's time to determine a baseline for each story point. For instance, you can use like 1 is equal to add a new product to a drop down menu, 2 is equal to add order tracking for logged in users, 3 is equal to add a rating system to the website, 5 is equal to add a forum to the site, 8 is equal to add GDPR and CCPA compliance across the site. Your baseline is included in this matrix is 1, which sets the standard for what the least amount of risk, complexity and repetition looks like in practice. This matrix is a way to more concretely measure effort. Keep this in mind instead of defaulting to judging items based only on length of time. Hold a round of planning poker. Planning poker helps a team gain a consensus of correct story point approximation for each item. Like in a sprint planning meeting, each developer and tester receives a set of cards, each one depicting a number of a Fibonacci sequence. A backlog item is brought to the table so that the team may ask questions and clarify features. When the discussion is closed, each developer and tester privately selects the card that most accurately reflects their estimate. When all cards have been selected, the estimators reveal their cards at the same time. If a consensus is met, it's time to move on to the next backlog item. If the estimates vary, the leaders discuss until they arrived at a consensus. It's useful to have a completed matrix on hand for the estimators to reference during planning poker, as it allows for greater consistency across tasks. Also, it is useful to set a maximum limit, 13 for instance. If a task is estimated to be greater than that limit, it should be split into smaller items. Similarly, if a task is smaller than 1, it should be incorporated into another task. So this is very important. Then friend, at this point within your sprint planning meeting, items in the product backlog can be prioritized and divided out amongst the team based on the team workload capacity. So friend, we have discussed the Fibonacci methods, we have discussed the planning poker method as well. So hope you like this video and it will clear the concept of a story point estimation in the agile methodology. So friend, thank you, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and please do ask any question in the comment section and I would love to answer your queries. So thank you, thanks a lot for your time.